Overnight, a Democratic sweep in high-profile elections nationwide.
The big blue wave just shocked the Republican oligarchs to their hearts, and as a black conservative heterosexual cis male that identifies with he, him, I'm here to give you my unsolicited thoughts on last night's election. Los Gates.
Here's to show.
Last night was the 2025 off-year election, meaning they took place in a year without federal races for Congress or the presidency. Off-year elections usually include gubernatorial races like Virginia, New Jersey, or Kentucky in some cases, or some cycles. I'm not sure. I don't think anything happened this year. States legislature elections, mayor and local races. And to no surprise to the common man, the predominantly Democrats held seats overwhelmingly stayed Democrat. So I don't know why Republicans are so upset. Look, I'm one of those conservatives that have no loyalty to a party. I'll vote Republican, Democrats, mostly independents early on in my life, my 20s. If there was an LGBTQIA plus community within how we see political affiliation, I would be a part of that community. Swing whichever policies makes the most sense and likely to pass, specifically if it's focused on, taxes, law and order, economics, wars, adult things. And contrary to what some people believe, nobody enjoys being an adult. I miss my youth and my childhood. The only thing that mattered to me in life that I cared about was whether or not my crush was going to say yes if I asked her out. And she usually always said no. See, now I'm at that age where I worry about money, jobs, safety, debt, cost of goods, AI. I mean, the list goes on. And I'm about to have a heart attack just thinking about everything that I actually worry about nowadays. My point is, I have ADHD and I get off topic often, but I was saying, of course, Democrats are going to win for two reasons. First off, most of them were historically Democrat-held seats, so kind of makes sense. Second off, I don't think Trump is loved as much as he may believe currently. The base is currently in civil war, and he's leaning on the group that no one really likes, the neocons. The ones that had issues with Trump during 2016 through 2020, his first time around, they seem to have been elevated to VIP status. So the base is definitely fractured, mostly over social issues. Again, the same thing that turned everyone off from the Democratic Party. You know what I'm talking about. The victimhood stuff, the blame game, not reading the room, wars. Sure, stuff is getting done right now. I'm not going to deny that. But the perception is not always looking very good. And even though it was obvious that most of these seats were going to remain blue, or the fact that we already saw things trending that direction, we can hate on all of that, but we cannot deny that the Democrats scored stronger than expected wins across multiple states in the off-year election cycle. The only one that honestly bothered me was the Virginia's AG position. In fact, I wrote a script to talk about this serial killer vibes of the text messages versus the wannabe Proud Boys text messages leaks from the young Republicans, but I opted to not waste my time because I assumed that wishing death upon children was a bit extreme than dumb, racist, anti-Semitic, or all the phobias in one that you can think of jokes in a group text message that was private. I assumed having that person be the head of law enforcement, that those messages would have bothered people. I assumed no matter how you felt about Trump, that they would look at the other AG who was running, who may be a less, crazy? Another surprise for me was honestly Jacob Frey winning over Omar Fatah. I think I said his name right. I know they got the whole rank-based system, but I definitely thought that Omar Fatah would win since there's such a large, in fact, the largest Somalian population in America is in Minneapolis. I'm honestly interested to see the breakdown and see if the Somalian population voted for Omar or not. Because Somalians, believe it or not, are mostly conservative. They have typical conservative values. And I'm curious to see if they would put race above policy and safety like, some of us do. Then we had the boogeyman himself, the self-proclaimed Democrat socialist whose resume consists of failed rapper like I'm a failed YouTuber.
Make a rap for your naughty. It's a rap. Get the guap, spin the rap for your naughty. Spin the rap.
But luckily for him, he came from a rich family, not from this country, who didn't live a typical New Yorker life, but he's charismatic. He has that nice charismatic smile. He can fluff poor people, uneducated people, minorities, the Jewish and Muslim communities, not to mention BLM, LGBTQ, Antifa, legal immigrants scared they will be treated like illegal immigrants, criminals, and lazy ass Gen Zers.
Okay.
And millionaires who poured a lot of money to get him elected, which will be a tax write-off end of the year, knowing that the mayor and these ideas of free buses, free grocery stores, 2% increase on the rich ain't happening. Do you understand what you have to go through to be able to pass those high school make-a-wish dream come true? Politics has a lot of bureaucracy to get those type of ideas passed. So why is everyone freaking out?
Well, don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not gonna do what you all think I'm gonna do, which is just flip out!
I do not know for the life of me. I think we just enjoy being mad. But Kathy Holcomb did support Mandani. So with her help, combined with his popularity... No, relax. This is a game, y'all, a chess game. Your life will be much happier if you just treat it that way, I promise you. Plus, you probably should play chess. It's really fun. Government Hochul is a typical politician. She is not going to let the police department get defunded. Come on, think about it for a second. I honestly think we really do live in a different dimension. Did we all forget that she also called a National Guard earlier this year and last year? New York will be fine, people. I think most people see it that way. I could just be wrong, but I see it that way. Just, leave him alone. Let the world see what he can and cannot do. Let him prove me wrong and all the naysayers. And truthfully, listen to me. No shade on New York. New York has its own unique spot on this earth. Literally on this earth. There is no place like New York. It truly is what culture is. Good, bad, and ugly.
I'm walking here.
And we need to kind of keep it that way, but there's definitely a lot of problems and improvements needed in New York. And they got all these problems, hence why people chose a wealthy Karl Marx fan over a disgraced governor who's fighting for a job that would be considered a demotion in any other job market. And you had also a guardian angel people forget took bullets for New York City. And he is a true New Yorker. Let's just be honest. Who do you think New Yorkers were going to go with? The guy that says F to millionaires, which by the way, he's one of them, and he's also saying free stuff. They're gonna go with him. Let Mandani cook and do his thing. If rich people want to really leave. It doesn't take much for them to pack up and leave, because there are consequences you may not like attached to decisions sometimes that the community makes for you. I live by what Thomas Sowell always said in one of his books. He says there are no solutions, just trade-offs. I will say this, Republicans need to stop acting like Joy Reid's TDS when it comes to Mandani. I think he was a terrible choice, of course, but these meltdowns are so hypocritical, because these meltdowns are the same meltdowns that we were making fun of for 10 years. Even woke celebrities are starting to catch on.
In the first Trump administration, you had a lot to say. I'm curious how you feel about talking out now.
I don't really know if I should. I think the first Trump administration was so wild, and just how can we let this stand? I felt like I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But as we've learned, election after election, celebrities do not make a difference whatsoever on who people vote for. And so then what am I doing? I'm just sharing my opinion on something that's going to just add fuel to a fire that's ripping the country apart. I mean, we are so divided.
And remember, I only like professional liars when they lie that they agree with me. But if we go down that route of Trump trying to pull funding from New York, I don't care what he may insinuate. I care what is actually passed and physically done, y'all. So either be consistent with your rhetoric. Is Trump always lying, or is he telling the truth? Which one am I supposed to believe? Which is it, liberals? I don't like to speculate. I like to physically see things, put into action. But if we go down that route, it's no good. I'm telling you that right now. We have unconditional love for Israel. I thought everybody knew that. So when you voted for him, I assumed you knew that was part of the plan.
You liar!
But the admin needs to really read the room. People are not with it. They didn't know that they signed up to have a 53rd state. We already have two bastards that we treat like a Cinderella story. Cinderella is, of course, Puerto Rico. People wanted MAGA, Make America Great Again. And the agreement was transparency through the Epstein list, I guess. I wasn't thinking that, honestly. I just kind of understood that nobody's ever going to get that list. But what do I know? It wasn't the type of transparency I was looking for. But anyways, that plus the wars seem to sway people. I don't know if I'm off on this one. Y'all tell me, comment below. But to close this out, congratulations, Dems. You kept your seats. I believe they even gained about 12 seats in Virginia alone. Listen, Virginia is mad, y'all. So mad that they voted in a psychopath to bring law and order. Make that make sense. I hope that rich kid from Norfolk was not being serious in those text messages. I really do. I pray to God that he is not that weirdo that he depicted himself as in the text messages. Because that's honestly the only thing that shocked me, that he won. Cali officially granted gerrymandering and people voted for it, so Cali will forever be blue. Listen, there will never be a Terminator running Cali again. So I'm just gonna go ahead and sell my house over there and just call it a day. Again, reps, don't be mad. This is normal. Both sides gerrymander all the time. Stop whining about it and do something about it. Like, I don't know, pass a bill starting 2026. No more gerrymandering. Call it the anti-gerrymandering bill. Keep it very simple so no misconceptions will happen. Keep it dummy proof. But they won't, people, because it's like a wild card that these politicians can use to benefit their party. No one's gonna vote against themselves and their team. On a serious note though, this should be honestly something that Republicans should pay attention to. And we, the ones who voted and supported this side, need to own this one. We are the people who were cheering for accountability, and we got to lead by example. We can't sit there and keep blaming other people all the time. I mean, there is a level of stupidity that goes with everything, but come on, we gotta look at ourselves. I don't think it's shameful to be open about that. I should be able to tell you what I like and what I don't like about a party or a person that I voted for or supported. There's lots I still support, and I know the inner workings to see that some of these things are working out pretty well, but some things are just not, and that should be called out. Especially perception. I know we all are hypocrites, but it would be cool if we put our pride down for time to time and acknowledge the reality. Support is dwindling. Infighting isn't helping either. And all the crybabies freaking out when Tucker Carlson interviews a fake Catholic cosplaying as a member of the Hitler Youth. Who cares? Is causing unnecessary reality TV show vibes, and it turns off people like me. Actually, I find it very entertaining. It's really weird. People are feeling a certain way. Conspiracies turned ugly. Where's Bigfoot when you seriously need him right now? Where is he? Wokeness flipped on upside down on us, and midterms are coming up next year. In a couple of months. And I see that if this blue wave is really bothering Republicans right now, then I think it's time to pay attention, which means that it's probably time to kind of swing things a little bit more center. Otherwise, I think Republicans will just lose some supporters. The people and support that they dream to gain back after decades of being called the racist, Christian, Judeo, evil, right-wing extremists. The information war matters, people. We all know this. The more it's rooted in truth and the reality of everyday life, the more people are going to believe it. And they're going to believe you, and they will trust you because it is the truth. Public perception still matters. Domestic and international is part of the battlefield. I can't believe I just said that because that actually came from Che Guevara. What the fuck? So those are my unsolicited thoughts. Well, this election, should be a wake-up call, a warning sign of what is to come if we keep ignoring perception. But other than that, honestly, everything is moving as usual. Nothing changed, normal like it always never isn't.